Hey y'all, welcome back to Healing Gardens. We're going to do some work in the garden today and thought I'd bring you along to see what a day-to-day life in this garden is like. I'm still planting. I'm planting seeds. I'm planting plants, and I have other projects that I have going on. So come along and see what we're doing. All right, everybody, here we are. I am cleaning up that corner. I've got a lot of boxes in that one bed just thrown there for storage and to smother out the weeds. Well, they've done their job, and now we're just going to clean up a little bit and get ready to plant our sweet potatoes. I normally don't use plastic in the garden, but for sweet potatoes, it's necessary to have something as a weed barrier until they get established. And I found that black plastic is the best because it creates a lot of heat in the bed, and the sweet potato slips and plants love heat. So we're just going to stretch this out. We're going to put some landscape staples in to hold it down temporarily. And after I get the sweet potato slips planted and they're established and they're loving their life, I probably will come through and put some of the hydrofiber as a mulch, top dressing the plants, which will cut back on the heat as well. So I'm trying not to step in the bed and compact the soil, but I eventually do get in the bed, and it's just one of those things that this bed is difficult to work because of the way I plant, and I use every square inch of space. So like where my peach tree is right now, that actually gets booted out of the garden, and then instead of just leaving that area free and open so that I can get into that bed easier, no, I planted several Kaboka squash seeds there. So, and if they come up, great. If they don't, I'll replant them. But anyway, I just have such a small space and such a big planting desire that I just use every square inch, and it's okay. It's okay. I even started planting between my pots into the ground. So we're getting our... Look at this grass. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It grows runners a foot to 2 foot long, and so I don't think you could ever get away from it. It's really annoying, and it's really the only weed I have to speak of. But it will crawl under, through, over, and when I had this sweet potatoes planted before, some of the grass even grew into my sweet potatoes in this bed. So I am prepared for that. It's not a big deal. I just cut them in half and cut out the grass damaged part. But I do love sweet potatoes. They're a great storage crop. I don't eat white potatoes typically, so this is a good starch when I need something heavy in carbohydrates. I'm trying to stay away from carbohydrates, but sweet potatoes are high in vitamins, and like I said, they're a good storage crop, so I can store these. If I store them correctly, I can store them for 2 years or more. So I like having these on hand. Eventually, this bed will hold 20 plants, I think. So that would be a good amount of plants. 20 plants if each potato makes 10, if each slip makes 10 potatoes, which is typically what I get out of them, 10 to 20, that would be over 200 potatoes. So we give them a lot of fertilizer when we plant, and then I will do a liquid fertilizer after this, because since they're just going into that little hole, it's hard to get that granules in there. So I'll just do a liquid fertilizer. And it's just, this is one of my favorite crops to grow. And typically I would have a drip line under the plastic and plant near each emitter. I don't have that option this year to run drip line like that. So we're just going to be watering with the hose, and we'll be watering regularly. Sweet potatoes like a lot of moisture. They do not like soggy soil, but they definitely want it moist, especially when they start growing the tubers, the potatoes. If they have dry soil, you'll just end up with shrunken sweet potatoes. So now I also planted on the left-hand side, there's a little space, about 6 or 8 inches. Don't know how I ended up with that space, but anyway, it's surrounded by 2x6s. So it's just like its own little bed. And I put in a chamomile and something else in there, and they are really doing well in that space. And then later on the right hand side, I'm going to pop in a tomato, because from the fence to the sweet potatoes is about 3 feet, and that's a good size space for a tomato plant. And I am going to get a cage and pop in there, because I do not like uncaged tomatoes. That being said, I have so many tomato plants right now, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with them, where to put them. But I'm thinking that I'm going to end up putting them in a space where they do not have a cage. Like I said, that is not my favorite way to have tomatoes, because they do get a lot of pest damage from growing on the ground. But I need to get them in the ground and get them planted and just done. I just want things done. They don't have to be perfect right now. They just have to be done. I have lots of plants in the ground, and I've just been digging up my yard, basically, and popping plants in wherever I can fit them. I even put an elderberry in the ground, which is a more permanent plant, but it is what it is. I want all the things, and I want to grow something lovely. And this space, in my opinion, is becoming a lovely little garden. I still have a lot of work to do to make it prettier, but I'm enjoying it. I enjoy sitting out in the morning with my coffee and listening to the birds and watching the birds. I've had a red cardinal visit my garden, which I've never had the whole time I've lived here. And I have sparrows that are visiting and just enjoying my space. They would just hop around from place to place. I do not know what sparrows eat, but whatever they eat, they're welcome to stay here. I have not had any bird damage on my produce, so even if I did, I wouldn't mind, because I think they eat caterpillars and bugs that I don't really want in my garden. So I'm really happy with this space this year. It's developed over the years, slowly but surely, and I'm just really, really loving it. I can imagine if I stay here another year or two, how much it would change. So I have rainwater, so I'm using rainwater until it's gone. I had 5 gallons plus a 55-gallon drum. And so there's our sweet potatoes all planted up and ready to start producing. I'm so excited for this project. This bed has been just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. So here's some of that hydrofiber. I like to put this around each plant. It keeps them from laying on that black plastic. And you'll see I just tucked it around each plant. I still have a lot of the black plastic exposed to heat up the soil. And so it turned out really well. I thank y'all for coming along on this journey. I thank you for watching, and for those of you that watch till the end, I so appreciate you. It makes a huge difference in my algorithm and analytics that the videos are actually being watched. So thank you so much, and we'll have a garden tour coming up on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. And let me know, what are you guys growing? And what do you want to know about? I can answer questions all day long. I love talking about gardening. So thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.